living in active addiction, in this case alcohol. What is it? What does it mean? It means an ongoing compulsion to drink, regardless of any circumstances or consequences that may lead to poor health. You just drink and you think everything's going to be fine, don't you? Even if the doctor says cut down, oh, I'll be fine. When you're young and fit, you know what the medics say, you don't really take much notice of. And I think it's very habit forming, that's what I think. I mean, when do you become an alcoholic? But the question for most people is, when do you cross over from moderate or heavy drinking to alcoholism? Because alcoholism is a totally different ballgame to heavy drinking. Because heavy drinkers can moderate. Now, I drank steadily in my late teens and early 20s without any major withdrawals or hangovers, anything like that. But as I got a little bit older, I began to feel the hangovers a little bit more intense. By that time, I had a young daughter, a bit more family pressure. Doing well at work. I got some promotion in the police. I was travelling from Epping Forest into central London. Quite a long day, but I enjoyed my job. Did very well there. But I always had a drink at the end of the day, or even the end of the shift. And sometimes I'd come back off nights, get home about 7:30 in the morning, and have a drink. Because I classed that as my night time, if that makes sense. A couple of cans of beer, and a little bit of breakfast, and I slept really well. So there was always an excuse to have a drink, really. I would say every day. Within a 24-hour period, I drank something virtually every day. So this habit, which I enjoyed, and I got the buzz and all this sort of thing, and made me sleep, made me relaxed, then became a little bit more intense. And when I was my days off and on holidays, I'd think, oh, I've got a really good excuse to have a bit more now. And so I drink a bit more. And then I started to feel I've got a bit of a headache, don't feel 100%, had a little bit of maybe upset stomach or whatever. And I think it's age related as well. Not feeling as fit, not doing as much, lose interest in things a little bit. And that carried on for a number of years. I got more and more tired. It saps your energy, alcohol, you see. It makes you really tired, and you start to become a bit weary, I think, about, your ambitions fall off a little bit, sharp. And, I did that for about 10 years and I've sort of plodded on, really. I did all right. Anyway, eventually the marriage dissolved. I retired and moved back to Newcastle, which was probably a bad move. And I had all the time in the world then to drink. And I just was social, heavy social, I would say, at that point. But then I started drinking a bit more in the house. So I had a few drinks in the house. Then I would go out. And at one point I felt so ill, I thought I've got to get the doctors. When the doctors, he didn't really give me much advice. He just said, well, cut down a bit, really. So I decided, in wisdom, that I would just stop. I didn't know the danger. I didn't realise how addicted to this stuff I was. I decided to just stop, and had a seizure. So I started to shake and went, just total blackout. Got taken to a local hospital, ended up with tonic-clonic seizure, I think it was called. And they gave me some Valium and pat me off to the doctors again. This time he gave me some diazepam. I didn't even know what it was at the time. And he said it's like alcohol in liquid form, really. In tablet form. And it was really good. It got me off the drink. After 7 days of that, I slept a lot for 7 days. And then I felt right as rain. So I had a few months off the drink. I thought, I'm feeling great now. So I started drinking again, didn't I? I relapsed. Very quickly, I was drinking full time again. I bang on about this relapse, but this is what kills people, I'm sure. Going backwards and forwards onto it. So I tried again, got some more diazepam. It was off about 2 years. I was going out one night, and I had a date or something. I thought, I'll just have one bottle of beer, just see what it's like. And I stood looking out the flat window. It was a beautiful night, and I just took this bottle of, I can't remember what it was, Peroni, Stella, maybe. Keep going about Stella, it's just the only thing I remember. And I had this bottle, and to describe it, it's like a drug being injected into me. I've never had a drug in my life, apart from prescriptions, obviously. I had this incredible warm feeling, because I was pretty fit after 2 years off it, And I thought, well, I might as well have another one. I'm going to meet this bird. And this woman, sorry. And another one. I thought it was even better. So I went to meet this date. I thought, I'll just have a couple of pints. Did that. I felt great. So I'll have another couple of days off. I don't want to go full on it again. I was feeling good. And then I thought, get to Saturday night, I'll maybe go to the local boozer. Had a couple in there. And very quickly, I was drinking all day again. Every day. About the doctor, again, gave me some more diazepam. Got off. Thought, right, I'm going to give it a really good go now. 2006 to 2014, 8 years, completely sober. My life slightly changed in 2014. I met somebody else, and I was afraid to tell her that I had an alcohol problem. There's a massive stigma, isn't it? It still is. So I started to have a little bit here and there, and then very soon, another 6 months went past, I was completely banging it again. 2014. Went to the doctors, no diazepam this time, and I self-medicated for the next 5 years until 2019, until I was seriously ill. That's covered in a few of the other videos. But what I'm trying to work out, what I'm trying to get across, I'd like your comments on this and your feedback on this. When do we cross over, or what makes us cross over from heavy drinker to alcoholic and dependency? Because I was at the stage in 2019, I was completely physically and psychologically dependent on it, and I probably was when I had that seizure. So it becomes a point when the heavy drink and the hangovers and the withdrawals get to critical point really, and you cannot stop. And it goes back to the original line, living in an active addiction, a compulsion to take the substance, even though you know it's going to harm you. You're completely bereft of feelings, really, and everything becomes secondary. You're preoccupied all the time with getting that drink, storing the drink, and worried about it. Where are you going to get your next fix? That's what it's like. It's a drug, isn't it? It's really going about drugs and alcohol. It's just drugs. It's all drugs. Alcohol is just a drug in liquid form, isn't it? As are a lot of other drugs. So it's just one big, bag full of drugs, really. But we always separate this alcohol as if it's acceptable, but it's just the same. It's mind-altering, and it kills people. It kills thousands every year in the UK, and apparently there's up to like 300,000 dependent people, alcohol dependent people in the UK. I think it's more than that, to be honest. I know a lot of dependent drinkers who will say, oh, they don't drink every day, and they do, and they wouldn't be able to stop. And it kills people in their 40s and 50s as well, in large numbers. But, it's everywhere. I passed a petrol garage the other day, 24 hours off license. What's all that about? So I'd like your thoughts on this. When did you, or when do you think you did, if you have been alcohol dependent or alcohol dependent, when do you get this crossover? What starts it? And why does it start, do you think? Because I haven't really got a definitive answer, but to me, at a guess, I think it's when you start having a drink to get up and a bit out. You have the hair of the dog, that sort of thing, and you start to feel better. Because at one point, my wife thought I was diabetic because there's a lot of sugar in alcohol, isn't it? But as soon as I had that first drink, then I felt better. Whether that's a crossover point, I don't know. But please comment, because it's nice to hear from other people. This group's going quite well. There's a lot of intelligent comments on there from people with all sorts of experiences of alcohol addiction, and let's share some ideas on this one, because if we can find out what turns people from heavy drinkers to alcoholics, then it would be incredible information, wouldn't it? If you are benefiting from the videos, then please subscribe, and I'll speak to you all soon.